You know, one of the things that we're always looking for as a not-for-profit organization is low-cost ways that we can get the education we need. And the Chamber does a great job of bringing together a well-rounded mix of people and topics at a cost that's affordable to an organization like On With Life. Anytime anybody asks me about the Ankeny Chamber and whether or not it's a good business decision, I wholeheartedly say yes. And there's so many different things that members can get out of being a part of the Chamber, and it's going to be unique for everyone. And everyone has the opportunity to figure out what is a business need they have and how can the Chamber support it. And I am 100% that they will find the answer in working with the Ankeny Chamber.
I love the Chamber. I will say that till the day I die. I'm born and raised in Ankeny, and we've always been involved. But when I moved back here, I lived in Arizona for 9 years. When I moved back, I knew I had to get involved in the community to grow and establish my business. And I just found a good culture and a good group of people that I really kind of just felt good and comfortable with. And I found, just like I said, just a good, supportive community of people. And of course, it's helped my business. I mean, it has, because of, a lot of those people I've met have turned into clients or referrals, and just a good group.
One of the things that we're always looking for as a not-for-profit organization is low-cost ways that we can get the education we need. And the Chamber does a great job of bringing together a well-rounded mix of people and topics at a cost that's affordable to an organization like On With Life. Anytime anybody asks me about the Ankeny Chamber and whether or not it's a good business decision, I wholeheartedly say yes. And there's so many different things that members can get out of being a part of the Chamber, and it's going to be unique for everyone. And everyone has the opportunity to figure out what is a business need they have and how can the Chamber support it. And I am 100% that they will find the answer in working with the Ankeny Chamber.
I love the Chamber. I will say that till the day I die. I'm born and raised in Ankeny, and we've always been involved. But when I moved back here, I lived in Arizona for 9 years. When I moved back, I knew I had to get involved in the community to grow and establish my business. And I just found a good culture and a good group of people that I really kind of just felt good and comfortable with. And I found, just like I said, just a good, supportive community of people. And of course, it's helped my business. I mean, it has, because of, a lot of those people I met have turned into clients or referrals, and just a good group.
You know, one of the things that we're always looking for as a not-for-profit organization is low-cost ways that we can get the education we need. And the Chamber does a great job of bringing together a well-rounded mix of people and topics at a cost that's affordable to an organization like On With Life. Anytime anybody asks me about the Ankeny Chamber and whether or not it's a good business decision, I wholeheartedly say yes. And there's so many different things that members can get out of being a part of the Chamber, and it's going to be unique for everyone. And everyone has the opportunity to figure out what is a business need they have and how can the Chamber support it. And I am 100% that they will find the answer in working with the Ankeny Chamber.
That's for you, bring out things.
I didn't explain me because I wasn't here last night, but it really worked. I was here. He's gonna use crap.
If we could have candidates to their places, please. Candidates up front. Please sit behind your own name. Thank you. Folks in the room here, folks in the room. So we have one candidate who can't be with us tonight, is participating virtually. That audio will be coming out of the computer. It might be a little harder to hear, and we're going to try to do something that just happened about the ordinance here. Trying to make it work. The live stream is going to be however, this particular room you might have trouble hearing. We'll be starting right at 6.
And then we turn it off, we hit this thing. Oh, do you want to turn it off when we're not sporty? Do you want us to turn it off when we're not? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
No, we're good. Just those two. We're good.
Good evening. On behalf of the Ankeny Area Chamber of Commerce Governmental Affairs Committee, I would like to welcome you to tonight's Ankeny School Board Candidate Forum. We will be your moderators this evening. My name is Mark Land.
And I am Chris Werman. We're the co-chairs of the Ankeny Chamber of Commerce Governmental Relations Committee, and we'll be serving tonight as your moderators. We thank you for attending either live in person as you are or virtually. After receiving feedback from our September forum, tonight we're pleased to provide this forum both live and live streamed to increase participation as well as to take advantage of the terrific existing audio technology in the City Council chambers. We're very fortunate to have that. There is an overflow audience and seating here tonight on the first level, watching live as well. People attending in person are going to be able to submit questions that we will be asking if time permits. We have a very full evening. The mission of our committee is to provide communication and education on government action and policy issues that may impact our chamber membership by facilitating the efficient exchange of information between our members and our elected officials. Please note the forum rules and regulations that were distributed and that are also on the screen tonight that let us conduct a meaningful forum. We thank you for your consideration to respect them throughout the session. The Governmental Relations Committee strives to make the forum neutral in content and fair to all candidates.
So our forum this evening will carry the following format. So we'll have opening remarks by each candidate at 2 minutes per candidate, followed by a series of questions from the chamber membership and the audience, and those will also be 2 minutes per question. And then we'll have some closing statements from each candidate in the reverse order, 2 minutes for each candidate. So during this event, we will be taking questions from the audience. So please write your questions down. You probably saw Tom Friedman, who's waving in the back of the room up here, and he can help you get a card and a pencil to write your question down. And for those individuals on the first floor, Ann Wright is down there, and she will be collecting cards from you. So Ann, please identify yourself to the attendees in the room. And as time permits, we'll get these audience questions asked as noted in the rules and regulations. So all certified candidates were invited to participate in these forums, and we are happy to note all are in attendance this evening. So please welcome the Ankeny School Board candidates. So before the event here this evening, we had a random drawing for the order of the candidates. And so we will start with the opening statements in that order, which this evening is first will be Joy Burke, followed by Shelley Northway, and then Sarah Barthol, Christian Holtz, Lori Lovestead, and finally Trent Murphy. So that will be our order for this evening. So we will begin with the opening statement from Joy Burke.
Hi, thank you all for coming, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event tonight. Yes, I am Joy Burke. I'm excited, I'm motivated, and I'm committed to being on this up here with all these candidates tonight to be elected into the Ankeny School Board. My family has deep roots here in Ankeny. My grandfather, Richard Chamberlain, was on the City Council. My grandmother, Marilyn, had a small business in Uptown Ankeny. My mother, Pam, graduated from high school, which is now Parkview Junior High. And my father, Al Olson, worked for the city for 33 years before he passed away in 2015. I graduated from Ankeny in 1999. I went to the University of Northern Iowa, where I received my elementary education degree. They have an amazing opportunity up there for teachers to travel to do their student teaching. So I took that opportunity and went down to Arizona and had a wonderful experience, and was able to stay down there for 5 more years at that school that I was working at, and make an impact on the kids down there. I met my husband, Nate. We decided to raise our family back here in Ankeny. So I moved back, and I was a teacher at Ashland Ridge for 5 years. Nate and I have 4 children. We have Ellerson, who is in second grade. We have twins that are in kindergarten, and we have a 3-year-old who attends Terrace Learning Center. My husband and I also had the opportunity to host 2 foreign exchange students. So Tamari and Sonia lived with us for 1 whole school year. So we got to see what life was like with teenagers. My husband and I also started a nonprofit, or co-founded a nonprofit, where we have helped families in our communities travel to be with their ill or injured children. We just celebrated a big milestone this year with raising our $1 millionth that we have given to families not only in our community, in the state of Iowa, and throughout the Midwest. So I'm just honored to be a candidate, and with all the roles I've played in this community, I just look forward to being a positive voice and a positive asset on the school board.
All right, Shelley, you're up next.
All righty, thank you. And thank you all for attending. You would think I would be really used to speaking in front of a large group of people with what I do for a living, but I am nervous tonight. So again, my name is Shelley Northway. I have lived in Ankeny for 43 years. I graduated from Ankeny, class of '88. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm a volunteer. I have 4 children, 3 of which who graduated from Ankeny High School. I have my baby, he is still a junior. I also have a niece and a nephew who are in the Ankeny school system. I volunteered at Terrace Elementary as a PTO president for 6 years. I have watched Ankeny grow from 4 elementary schools to the 10 that we are at now. I have also watched Ankeny go from 1 high school to 2. And when we split into 2 high schools, we also seemed to divide as a community. We were finally starting to come together as one until recently. This divide has become deep and very ugly. This is not who we are. My parents moved to Ankeny in 1978 for the same reason most do, to provide their children with a safe place to live and a better education. We can be that Ankeny again. We are better when we come together and do what is best for our children. We need to put our own personal agendas aside and put the needs of the children first. How do we do better? We support our teachers and our support staff. We need to address the teachers and sub shortages. We need to create a retention plan to keep top teachers in our community. We also need to support all of our students. We have heard a lot about diversity, equity, and inclusion. No student should feel underrepresented. No student should feel the need to conform to fit a mold of what the Ankeny student looks like. Our schools should be a safe place for students to be the best version of themselves, a place where they can learn and grow without judgment. Thank you.
All right. One thing I forgot to mention on my notes is to make sure if all the candidates could make sure they're right up there to the microphone, then everybody on the audience can hear us. But next we have Sarah Barthel.
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Sarah Barthel, and I'm honored to be here with you all tonight. Thank you for inviting me to attend, and hello to everyone joining in person and remotely as well. I'm a working mom. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Brady, and we have 2 elementary sons in the Ankeny School District. We moved here, like so many people, for the Ankeny schools and the small town feel and amenities it offered. We love living here for so many reasons. I've always been very passionate about my boys' education and was given some great advice from my 2 aunts that are lifelong teachers to get involved and know what's going on in their schools. I've taken that to heart and have been actively involved in my boys' school from the very beginning. I've served on the School Improvement Advisory Council, SIAC, for 3 years, been on the PTO board for my son at both their schools, and the homeroom mom. Last year, many of us in our community realized that local elections matter and have consequences, and it's important to elect school board members that represent our values and priorities. Last year, I was a voice, an advocate for my son's education, as well as so many other kids and families, and I'm running to continue making a difference and having a positive impact on our students' educational experience. I believe in all kids having access to a great education and opportunities. I'll work to ensure that all students feel safe and welcomed, and that there's meaningful connections with students and teachers. I'll work with our teachers so that they feel supported and have the resources they need to do their best work so that they want to stay teaching in Ankeny. Over the last 18 months, I've heard and talked to so many parents, teachers, community members, and even students that want to be heard. And I want to be a positive voice on Ankeny School Board that listens, learns, and acts in the best interests of all students. Thank you.
All right, and I do need to apologize to candidate Lori Bullock. She is on the virtual call. So Lori, you are number 4 and you're up.
Thank you very much. And I really want to thank the chamber. This was not my plan. I found out at 3:55 this afternoon that my 11-year-old has COVID. And so I really appreciate Brent and the chamber scrambling to make it possible for me to still attend. I know that this is not convenient for everyone, but the risk of exposing everyone in the room was just too great. And so I really appreciate the chamber working with me to continue to allow me to participate in the forum virtually. I am a civil rights attorney here in Iowa. I also practice education law. I have spent the last 6 years helping families with special needs children get the services that they need in the schools through their IEP plans and their 504 accommodation plans. And I would bring that expertise with me to the board. I also served as PTO president for 6 years at Terrace Elementary, and then started the PTO at Heritage Elementary when that school opened up. I've been a band mom and a show choir mom, and always been incredibly involved in my children's education. And that is because I think that education is one of the most important services that we as a community provide, a way for our youth to not only learn all of the arithmetic and science and reading, but also to prepare them for life after education, to enter the world and contribute economically to our society. And school is where our kids learn to be great citizens. And it's incredibly important that the board be made up of people who understand the importance of public education and who want the best for our students, our teachers, our staff, and everyone in our community. And so thank you very much again for accommodating me, and look forward, and thank you everyone for joining both virtually and in person.
Okay, thank you very much for those opening comments. So now we will move on to our questions. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Christian, number 5. Well, I'm just jumping ahead. We got 3 left. So we got Christian. Christian Holtz is number 5 next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian M. Holtz. I'm 20 years old. I was born outside the country in the city of Lovsky in the country Ukraine. Right now, I'm currently working a full-time job. I am right now working night shifts starting from like 10 o'clock p.m. at night till like 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm running for the school board to be a young, strong voice for the Ankeny schools. I am pleased tonight to announce that history has finally been made by a candidate to become one of the fewest, if not the youngest individuals ever to run for the Ankeny School Board, and it's about time. Folks, students are the primary reason we have education in the first place. I think we forget the young individuals are the main reason we have Ankeny schools in the first place. We need to start listening to those younger people who can actually change things. Younger leaders, according to statistics, show that they are the one reason why education keeps changing. This is why tonight I'm the most qualified candidate from a younger student perspective that can change things. Younger people have brought more change to our education system, I feel, than older people have. I'm going to give you guys a test on November 2nd. Who do you trust? An older individual who graduated like 30 years ago, or someone who has the most recently graduated more than a year ago? So I ask for your vote on November 2nd so I can be a strong voice for the young individuals and to bring about the change we most desperately need for our Ankeny education system.
Okay, the next is Lori Lovestead.
Thank you, and thanks to the Chamber for hosting this event. We appreciate it so much. Like I said, my name is Lori Lovestead. I have been honored to be able to be on the school board since 2017. And one of the reasons that I am so excited to run again and to be able to be a part of the continuing work that we've done is that I have a proven record of looking out for not only our students, but what their education means for the future. When I first ran, in 2017, a large issue in our community was outstanding lunch debt. We had students who were being turned away from a hot lunch at school because their lunch accounts were overdue through no fault of their own. And within a couple months of getting on the board, we made a committee and we were meeting with community members, community groups, nonprofits, administrative, school staff, guidance counselors, social workers, and we got together and we created the Fuel Fund. And that Fuel Fund has raised over $100,000 to be able to help support our students so that no student is ever turned away from receiving a hot lunch. Another platform that I ran on the first time that I've been very proud to be a part of is the creation of the Orbis program in our school district. Many on the chamber have been a part of our students' work at Orbis. And within a year of it being created, our district was winning awards with the innovation and the college and career readiness that is not only creating opportunities for our students to excel in college, but to be able to make career choices that don't necessarily involve college, but a career path. And teaching our students to be able to be good learners and good citizens is something that I've always been very passionate about. And I've been proud to be able to be a part of a lot of really positive work that our board has done. And I'm really looking forward to being able to continue that work and to keep focusing on what our students need. Thank you.
And the final opening statement is Trent Murphy.
Thank you to the chamber. Thanks, Mark and Chris. Thank you to the community for coming out. Civility, experience, and consistency. I'm blessed to know a lot of people in this room and a lot of people that are watching that I've known. What I love about Ankeny Schools is the fact that you're just really one intersection away from meeting a new friend. I spent 1/3 of my career working as an educator, a secondary science teacher, a wrestling coach in Iowa and in Arizona. My wife, Renee, and I, for 33 years, we shared many times teaching and coaching, as well as being business owners and active community members. It's important to us that we served as positive role models for others. The lessons I learned from parents and students as they built confidence in their schools and themselves and their community, those lessons have shaped my business and how I live my life. As some of you may know, for 10 years I served on the Ankeny School Board. Some of my fondest memories and biggest challenges were from that decade serving the families and taxpayers in our community. During that time and for 10 years after, I built lasting relationships with those that I met and many others. On Tuesday, I want everybody to know that I'm fully dedicated to serving the entire community. I love the idea of Orbis. Renee and I were founding members of Orbis. We've worked every year for all the years for those kind of things. So if given the opportunity, after tonight, if your decision has not already been made, I would really, really encourage you to vote, and I encourage you to vote for me.
Okay, now we get on to the questions. These questions were offered by our committee, as well as members from the audience, both here in the room and on the first floor. So let us know, candidates, if you need the question repeated at any time. So just like we started out with Joy being first, now we'll move on to Shelley being the first to answer question number 1. So here we go. In your opinion, are Ankeny schools adequately preparing students for the workforce and/or higher education? Please explain what you like or what you may want to change if elected.
All righty. I believe, from what my youngest daughter just graduated last year, and yes, we are in ways preparing our children for the workforce. In other ways, we are not. We have, when a student has so many opportunities to retake tests and whatnot through the schools, those opportunities are not given to them in college or in the real life. So you have to be able to be able to accept the job and then what not at hand. Sorry, I am so nervous right now. What we do need to work on in our education is also the acceptance, the inclusion, the being able to work with others, having the ability to have the conversations, to work with other people. I would like to see some more changes in some of the options that are offered, more trade options that are in our school system. Not everyone wants to go to a four-year college. So having some of those, that information available to them firsthand would be beneficial to the students. Yeah.
Okay. Sarah?
Thank you for the question. I think there are certainly opportunities to improve. Granted, I only have two littles at home, but I've talked to a lot of parents and community members that have had children that have recently graduated, children that are getting ready to graduate, and I think there's some great opportunities here. We've heard about the Orbis program. I'd really like to see us expand that program and our career readiness. We have a lot of great businesses in the community that we can be partnering with, and we should be partnering with to give kids opportunities for all of their skills and interests. I think of the trades programs. I think of the plumbers, the electricians. Maybe you're interested in a four-year degree or an apprenticeship program. I want all students to see that they have a path to success after they graduate from Iowa State, and it doesn't just have to be a four-year program. If you might all know that there is a new program a new state initiative called Future Ready. And the goal of that is for Iowa to have 70% of Iowa workers having education or training beyond high school by 2025. So I think this is a really great opportunity for us to partner with the state, partner with our legislators, our educators, the community, to see how we can prepare our students for what's next after they leave Ankeny schools.
Okay, next up is Lori Bull.
Thank you. I do think that Ankeny schools provide a wonderful education and prepare a lot of our students who are looking to go to a four-year or two-year university. And we do a great job academically of getting them ready for that. I know, through the partnering with DMAC, we are able to offer a lot of our kids the opportunity to leave school with, leave high school with a year or two of college already under their belt through DMAC. And that's an amazing opportunity that we provide here in Ankeny. The other thing, as the other candidates have alluded to, we do have Orbis, which is a project-based learning. One of the things that I would like to see come to Ankeny and would advocate for bringing to Ankeny is vocational-based learning, so that it's less the entrepreneurial projects and more the trades. There is a critical need for trade workers in our country right now, and we are missing an opportunity to have Ankeny students prepared to enter that workforce when they leave high school with a year or two of apprenticeship under their belt. And that would be an amazing opportunity that we could provide to our students in expanding, beyond just the project-based learning that Orbis provides to our students.
Next up is Christian.
I don't think they are really helping the students getting prepared for jobs in the workforce in college, really. I think what needs to be done is if we could do this, my plan is to have managers from different jobs or something come to the actual school, where they could actually give them a job interview and they could get hired on the spot in school. That's one service I'm thinking, we need to do. I think that would be the best idea because here's the thing. Students outside the school, they want to play on their phones, play on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. They don't want to there's a lot of students that don't want to spend time and look for a job after school. They've got homework and stuff. Why not do it when they're in school where they're learning, where we could have managers, and for college and stuff, we could have people come in and help them apply for college or something, give them information. And this could either be in their advisory, have them in their counselor meetings or whatever. Shove it in their counselor meetings, shove it in a parent/teacher conference, do something, because then, because students need jobs. I've got a job. I was working, actually my first job I had when I was in high school, that was recommended by my teacher in high school, was Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee was my first job I had. And I continued over the years to expand on that. So I think this is the best option to prepare them for the workforce and school.
Okay. Next is Lori Lovestead.
Thank you. You'd think I'd learn by now to turn the mic on. I think Ankeny schools are really doing a great job and have historically done a great job preparing kids for college. In the past 4 years, we've increased the number of credits our students earn from DMAC by 25%. What I love about the Orbis program is that they are not limiting themselves to college readiness. They have partnered with businesses, entrepreneurship. We have students who have created their own businesses through the Orbis program. And what I love about the idea of expanding Orbis is expanding it to every student that we have, building that equity that we need in our system. I am the parent of a child on the autism spectrum, and she used Orbis not just for her academic progress, but she used Orbis in a way to increase those soft skills that kids need, the communication, the collaboration that all of us need when we leave school and go into the workforce or college or anything. And so the idea of expanding Orbis into every student that we have, what their choices are, what their goals are, and then creating that environment through the schools that can support that, whatever they choose to do. And I think that limiting ourselves to college preparedness really limits our students. And measuring that preparedness by how many AP classes our students take does them a disservice, because there is so much more to our kids' future education than an AP course. It's a great measure, but we have so much more that we can do for our students to expand not only their college readiness, but for what they can do in the future outside of that and getting them into the workforce. And I love the fact that our chamber has been really, really a good partner with our school district on that.
Trent.
First of all, great question. Love this question, because most of the time we ask, are we adequately preparing our kids? We can't be everything to everybody, but we can do better. And again, through the Orbis program, I worked on Shark Tank for helping kids when they're trying to go through the program and learn different skill sets and stuff like that. Years and years ago, was on the DMAC committee to help do the dual credits. In my office, we spent a lot of time, it used to be called multi-occupational, multi-oc is what we called it, had many students come through, and it was really important for Renee and I and for our business that we invited students to come in and see what's different. Just last year, we used to call him Intern Mike. Great track runner, had a lot of things, wasn't sure if he wanted to go to college, wasn't sure if he wanted to follow and become a lawyer and do all the things. And he spent a long time with us in learning what our business was and how we interact with people and what that means besides just education, because you have to have a base education to make it work. And so all those things, the most exciting part is at the time we're in now, we get to have those conversations. We're not worried about 2 high schools. Yes, I voted for 2 high schools. We're not worried about that now. We're worried about so many other more important things and getting students involved in your businesses in our communities. And most importantly, getting those parents involved into that segment, whether they're going to go to college or whether they're going to do Carl Chevrolet and DMAC with that new program. There's so many things that are going on. We just, 1, need to be able to share that with everybody. And 2, we need to have a school board that values that and gets rid of all the other noise and starts working on the things that are more important. So thank you.
And finally, Joy.
I absolutely think the Ankeny School District prepares students to be successful outside of the school. Being a product of Ankeny, I felt that my teachers and the guidance counselors and the support that I received from the district set me up for success. I did not go the traditional path to straight to the university. I went to DMAC. I'm thrilled that the students have the opportunity now to have these AP classes to jumpstart their college career when they can get this done, in high school. So that's an awesome opportunity for that. The school district has figured out over the years to allow those kids to have that. A teacher's job is to create engaging and relevant learning experience every day. And I feel like that starts at a young age. And if we have good teachers in the classroom, they're encouraging those kids and they're helping them find themselves and kind of what they're good at. And then when they get up to the high school, they've got these counselors. I just remember my counselors played a big role in the direction I took in my life. High school's challenging. You try to figure out what you want to do when you grow up. Ankeny does a really good job of getting students into the classroom. When I was a teacher in Ankeny, I had several students. Every year I signed up for the Teacher Academy because I loved having students that were at the high school come into my classroom, engage with my students, learn what it's like to be a teacher, learn what the everyday in and out is. Even though they're in there for a year or an hour and a half a day, they get a really good idea of what teaching is like. So just getting kids out there into the workforce too, partnering with these businesses and getting them active, I think that helped me be the good teacher that I was getting into classrooms at an early age.
All right, thanks to all the candidates for answering question number 1 and Mark for working us through all of that. We'll go ahead and go to the second question, and we'll start with Sarah for the first answer. The question is, describe your analysis of the district budget and use of funds. What are the areas you feel are adequately funded, need additional funding, or a decrease in funding? So does anybody need that repeated? All right, well, go ahead. Sarah, give us your answer, and we'll start with you.
Great, thank you for the question. We have a big budget that we have to manage, and it's really important that we're managing that fiscally and responsibly. 45% of your tax dollars go to the school. So it's important to make sure that we're understanding where those budget dollars are going, what facilities are we doing, what money are we giving back to the teachers and putting that money back into the classrooms. It's important to make sure that we're looking at all those line items and directing that money back to our students and teachers in the classroom that's appropriate. Our solvency rate right now is about 12%. So it's good to have that money set aside for the rainy day fund. And it's good to monitor those policies and where the money is coming from, where we're spending the money to really look at the numbers every month that we're getting and be judicious and responsible of the taxpayer dollars that so many of you are putting into our districts.
Thank you for your answer. We'll now go virtual to Lori Bullock and ask the same question. Lori.
Hi. Yeah. So, in 2 minutes, our district budget. One of the things about our district budget is that unfortunately, due to continued budget cuts from the state level, we continue as a school district to have to work with less and less and get more and more creative with our budgeting. And a budget for a public school is nothing like a budget for a business. There's a lot of regulations and rules regarding how money can be used, how money can be divided amongst the many services that we provide as a school district. I do believe that there are a lot of areas where we are adequately funding our school district. We do a great job of using our resources for facilities, for updates, and as we're constantly opening new schools and making sure that we're doing that in a fiscally responsible way. I do believe we could spend additional funding on our staff. I know that we have one of the least competitive pay for associates, special education associates, subs, and our custodial staff in the Des Moines area. And that's an area where we could definitely increase. The other issue that I think that we definitely as a board need to address is our special education deficit, which is running right around $5.9 million right now. And we need to find a way to, at least start cutting in on that budget, start reducing that debt, and hopefully at some point breaking even. Thank you.
With you virtually. All right, let's go ahead, Christian, and have your answer.
Okay. Sorry. Areas that need more funding, I think the district uses the money inappropriately. There's been times where the school district has actually had a ton of some lawsuits. One situation back in 2018 was when there was a high school girl that literally got harassed and beaten up and got like a concussion, and the school district got sued over it. Now, I think what we need to do is we need to add more funding in hiring more teachers, more activities, clubs, sports. I think they also use the money to buy unused items. Like I once heard that they bought like unused furniture that wasn't even being used. And I think we also should use the money to help with special ed classes, and I think we can. The main reason we can reduce our debt is having the district quit getting like lawsuits over the last years over like whether it's harassment, just those silly mistakes. Those silly mistakes contribute to more money out of the school district's pockets, which is a disgrace. And I think that we can reduce it just having more student services and stop this harassment, the bullying in our schools, and with all these complaints from parents and teachers.
Okay, thank you for your comments. We'll move to you, Lori.
Thank you. One of the first things that I did when I was elected to the board in 2017 was realize that I needed a very quick education in school finance. I immediately joined our finance committee, as well as took part in many advanced trainings at the Iowa Association of School Boards that they gave on school finance, and learned that you could take a lifetime learning how to understand school finance. But one of the things that has been very empowering to me is that once you understand it and the complexities of it, then you can use it in a way to try to advance as much as possible. I completely agree with Lori Bullock, and that we need funding at the state and national level for special education services. Those services are mandated by law, and we are required to provide them for every student who needs them, and they are very expensive. And her numbers were right on, over $5 million deficit that has to come out of our general fund to pay for those things. And we gladly do it, but it is money that is necessary. I think we need funding at the state level for mental health services for our students. That social emotional context of learning is so important for the situations and the things that our students bring into the classrooms with them. I think we do a great job, and the public has trusted our school district to manage its finances properly, which is why we have never had a bond issue that has failed in our community, because our community knows that we use the money that they entrust us with wisely and properly, and very transparently. I'm very proud of the way that we have used what we have, but in order to keep up with the services that our students need, it's up to school board members and the communities to advocate for that money that we need at the state level.
Thank you for your comments, Trent.
Wow, very complex and regulated. That's school finance. So a lot of things are, most of our budget goes to payroll and to staff. We have to work with our legislator. We've had more money in the school districts than we've ever had 10 years ago. Unfortunately, we have unfunded federal mandates that we need to talk about, whether it's special ed, other things. I think we could probably focus a lot more on mental health. We have a nurse in every school. If your kid gets a hangnail, we have people that can take care of it, or that they need good medication and you need a nurse. We have a lot of certified nurses. We really haven't done a lot with mental health in the school district, and with those younger kids and with all the things going on and all the stresses that they have, we probably need to spend a little more money that direction. Transportation, long time ago, we tried to redo transportation by law. We have to transport students. Has nothing to do with education, but they do have to be there. And so the law has some other things that we could probably look at and work. And then lastly, on-time funding. As a growing district, We don't get funded a lot of times for the students we have. We still have to hire teachers, we still have to be in contracts, and we still have to service those kids. And we have to have buildings for those kids. And then we have to talk about on-time funding after that. Those are all things that have been going on for a long time. And I think with a school board member that can work with the legislator role in the funding of that, most of your taxpayers' money goes to the school district. And I think that I'm well positioned to help have those conversations.
Thank you for your comments. Joy.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of agreeing with everyone with the special ed funding, from talking to teachers in the district and leaders in the district, it seems to be a common thing that keeps getting brought up. Whether it's having the adequate funding for the resources that they need in the classroom, or just actually the funding for teachers. The funding for student teachers teachers in special ed comes from a different, from like Lori said, it's complex, but it comes from a different fund from my understanding. And so we definitely need to start looking more at our special education finances and how we are spending money and how we can get money at the state level for that. And I'm also, my big thing too, I've been talking about while I've been out campaigning, is mental health as well. This pandemic put a lot of stress on students. It's put a lot of stress on teachers. And we need to figure out what we can do to increase funding, whether it's bringing on more counselors into the buildings, well, it's bringing on some mental health specialists. 1 in 5 kids are struggling with some sort of mental health issue. If it's anxiety or depression, that's a lot. In a classroom, when I had 25 students, that'd be 5 students in my classroom. We can't control what these kids are bringing into school with them every day. We just have to be there to support them. So that's definitely an area that I feel like we need to start increasing our expenses on. But as far as like dissecting the school budget and the finance, that's definitely take some classes if I'm elected and get on some committees to understand it a little bit more. But I will be advocating for the areas that I definitely think we need to increase our funding in.
Thanks for your comments. Shelley, close us out on this question.
Okay, so I am in the same boat as Joy. I have not even going to try and tell you how the budget will work, analyzing it. But I will say that, yes, our teachers need more funding. We need to make sure that all the classrooms are fully supported. And then we also have, right now, as we know, some shortages for our teacher staff and our sub staffs. So we need to make sure we have the funds there to hire, and so all of our students, our needs are being met. We also need to think about our support staff, all the way from the secretaries to the custodial. They are not being paid what they are worth, and they are doing jobs of multiple people. So we need to take care of them. Otherwise, we're going to, again, be in a dire situation. Budgeting for the staff associates, like I said, also having, making sure budgeting for standardized technology for all the schools, I believe is something we should also do. And mental health is so important. I think we can all agree on that. Having the resources easily accessible to the students and the teachers, because it's not just students that are dealing with mental issues, anxiety, and whatnot. It's both students and teachers.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Thank you for those answers. Lori Bullock will be the first one to answer question number 3, which is, why should a parent enroll their child in the Ankeny Community School District?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have an amazing school district in Ankeny. We do a lot of things really well, and we are on a path to ensuring that we're moving that ball even further and moving into the future, offering a great education to every student. I think that we've made a lot of strides in moving forward and making sure that we're removing barriers and providing access to education for every single student. And a lot of that starts in the classrooms and making sure that our teachers are armed with the information they need to provide an equitable educational experience for everyone. But at the end of the day, Ankeny is a great community, and we're working we're doing a lot of things really well. We hired an equity director. We've hired a superintendent that is committed to engaging with the community and being very transparent, as that's already evident, 6 months into his term. And we're only going to keep moving that ball forward. And that would be, I would only keep moving that ball forward and making sure that we continue progressing towards offering an amazing and great educational experience to every student.
Next.
I think the main reason why a parent should enroll their child in the Ankeny Community School District is the kids and the teachers and the staff are the most friendliest people to be around. I think the system and how they operate is a system that is manageable. It's not like something that's overcomplicated. And I also think that there's so much inclusivity and I think the kids and many people in the district are very respectful to one another. But I think there still needs a lot of I do think there still needs to be a lot of improvement. Yes, I do think so. There's a lot at stake. But I think they should just enroll them because they're also optimistic, like I am, and they want them to be successful as best as they can.
Okay, thank you for that response. Lori.
I'll just say that my family moved here 9 years ago for the reason that probably a lot did. We moved here for the education, for the schools. And why should a parent enroll their child in our school district is because we have a history of success, but we're not content to sit on that reputation of success to let that carry us forward. We're committed to innovation as a district, not only in our staff, but in our programming and our commitment to our students. I believe that is shown by our willingness to be able to look outside the box of what our kids need. We are committed to not just making sure that our graduation number is over 95%, which it is, but making sure that the kindergartners and the preschoolers that we serve have an education that will meet them where they need us to be when they're ready to graduate. And looking forward into what our kids need, not only now, but in the future, is a massive role of what the school board needs to be a part of. I'm proud that our strategic planning right now is creating a vision, and it's a year-long process involving our staff, our administration, our community members, our business members, and having that strategic plan play out in a way that's transparent and open and forward-looking and future-oriented in our community is going to give people who want to move to this community, and it's going to give parents the reassurance that our district is looking towards the future of what their kids need and deserve for every kid in our district. And so that is, I think, one of the best reasons that a parent should send their kids here.
Thank you. Trent, you're next.
I was kind of really hoping that'd be my softball question for the first person to answer. It wasn't. The answer is why not? Academics, opportunity, caring teachers, caring community, engagement, passion. Those are the things that people come to Ankeny for, and that's the reason they bring their kids here. I grew up in Bondurant. I always wanted to live in Ankeny. Now, all my friends in Bondurant would get upset about that, but it's true. We had so much more going on. If we wanted to do something that was up and above an AP class, we could. We couldn't do it in Bondurant. We had great education, but there was always more that we could do. Ankeny has always looked, and Ankeny Schools has always looked for a little bit more. Just that extra touch. Not trying to rule the world, not trying to do anything great. Rob Denson would say he's trying to rule the world with DMAC, but trying to do just that little bit extra. And I think that the reason we're here tonight and the reason people are caring about this election is because we have that opportunity. And honestly, you're the company that you keep. And I'd invite anybody to come to Ankeny and bring their kids here, because we have things that are going great and we have things that we need to work on. You're invited to the conversation when you come to Ankeny schools, and you're invited to the conversation when you come to Ankeny. And so when you ask, why would you bring your child here? I'd say, why not? Why would you not bring your child here? I've been in other places. I've taught in other places. This is the place that people come to end a career, to raise their kids, and this is a destination. So you should come here. And I love that question. So thank you.
All right, Joy, you're up next.
You know, parents, when Nate and I were, having children of our own, and I guess it was a no-brainer for us to pick Ankeny to choose to, as a city where we were going to raise our family in. The extracurricular activities and opportunities that are provided for these students it's crazy. When we had our exchange students with us, Sonia and Tamari, one of the things that we did is we encouraged them to get involved and be active in the school and get to know peers. One of the things that was really nice is at the high school, they had this wall in its activities with like QR codes where kids can go up and they can figure out how they can get involved in clubs and organization. So our two girls were able to find groups and clubs that they felt a part of, that they felt safe in, that they were excited to do something with. So I think we have so many opportunities for our children to get involved in different groups and clubs. Our teachers, we have teachers who care. We have teachers who want the classroom to be a great place for your children to come every day. I mean, there's nothing better than to wake up and when your kids are excited to go to school. And when I go into my kids' conferences last week, my heart felt so happy because my children's teachers are creating this classroom environment where they're thriving in. So like Trent said, why would you not want to enroll your kids here? It's a community. It's a safe community. We respect one another. We're still growing as a community. So I feel like this is a place where a lot of people wish, if they're not here, there's a lot of people that wish they could be here. So we're very fortunate to live in a community like Ankeny.
Okay, Shelley.
All righty. Like I said in my opening statement, my parents moved here for the better schools and for the safe living. So, yes, I agree. I think we should have people moving into Ankeny, enrolling their students. We should be a school that they look at as a high-ranking school, which we are. And the reason that we are one of the top-ranked schools is because of our teachers. We have over 70% of our teachers that have master's degrees. And that in itself, the teachers putting that amount of time and effort to continuing their education, that is in turn educating our children, is a bonus. And we have lots of opportunities in our schools. We have sports, we have the education, we have the band, we have the DMET programs. All of this will help our children grow outside of the classroom. And then we have had, with the hiring of Dr. Pruitt and his vision, it will only make our district get better.
Okay, so to wrap up question number 3, Sarah.
Thank you. Ankeny is an education destination. We've heard that over and again. We heard that from the council forum last night. People come here because of Ankeny schools. It's a great community that's invested in our schools. It's invested in our students. It's invested in our teachers. We have great partnerships with the teachers, the community, the parents, and there's so much more to offer there. Like Joy said, one of the things I love is there's so many teachers that care, and my boys are so happy to go to school every day. They have smiles. They want to be at school. They love their teachers. They care. They love their friends. That's everybody around them. That's giving them a great experience, and we love that, and that's something that we should be really proud of. We also have great facilities. We have beautiful buildings, our classrooms, the technologies, everything that we can offer to these kids and more. And we also provide great services and support to meet students with a variety of educational needs. I think we really have tried to think about each individual student and supporting them and their needs. Another thing that I really love is we provide a lot of students activities and opportunities for both in and out of the classroom, be that sports, be that show choir, all those different things, so that student can find something that's important to them and that they feel that they can be part of. Our students are engaged, and one thing we heard just talking to different people that have graduated from Ankeny is all the great memories that Ankeny creates that they're going to take with them. My first grader, he won the Prairie Dog Dash, and every time he goes up to somebody, he has to tell them that. And I thank our school for offering him that opportunity to do something like that. So just very proud of our school and all the great things that we're doing and will continue to do.
Thank you all for your good answers to the last question. We've got an audience question that we're starting with now. How would you describe the current relationship between the city of Ankeny and the Ankeny Community School District? What would you do to increase or enhance it? Christian, we'll start with you.
Hey, so I was actually here last night at the debate, and I know they brought it up a little bit last night, but just to go back to last night, I know they kind of talked about how they want to work with the Ankeny Community School District, which I think is great. But the fact is, it's our responsibility here. So like, it's the Ankeny School Board's responsibility to make sure that we're not overspending. Now, they did mention also last night how, like, which I like too, how, why is my tax dollars going up? It's not the city of Ankeny's fault. They've actually cut taxes. So to conclude, literally, it's the Ankeny School Board's fault if they decide to raise your taxes, if for education, for notebooks, for everything. So I mean, you can't point fingers at the city of Ankeny because you're saying your taxes went up. No, it's the school board's fault for actually making your taxes go up.
All right, we'll continue on with Lori.
Thank you. I think historically, the city and school have worked wonderfully together because we have to work together. The schools are probably the largest, if not largest employer that Ankeny has. And the growth of our community is in large part because of our school system, but also we have to collaborate in knowing where that growth is happening, what the city plans are for neighborhood development, because either you put a school there first and the neighborhood grows around it, or you make a neighborhood and don't have a school that is close by. And so if we don't continue that positive working relationship, I think it is only to the detriment of our community. And historically, whether it was, for the time that it worked, the Y partnering with the city and the school district. Now we have Trail Point, where the school district partners with DMAC to provide swimming facilities for our students. But also, with our Orbis program, working with the chamber and city businesses, I think there's only room for growth when it comes to that relationship, and continuing to make it positive and to continuing to make it what our students need and our community needs. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that partnership can grow and how we can continue to do what's best, not only for the students, which are our primary responsibility, but working together with the city to make sure that those two things grow together.
Okay, we move now to Trent.
Infrastructure. Years and years ago, we had to work with the city to find out where we're going to build new schools, and we had to look way ahead. And we had to talk about the city about how we're going to get cars and drop-offs and all those things. And that's part of what we get to do with the city. A lot of people don't understand that the school district is a fixed boundary. It was set when the state became a state, and any child that moves into our district is our responsibility. The city has an opportunity to annex and move forward. And we had conversation years ago when they annexed south, outside of the school district, and they put a lot of businesses down there. Well, all those taxpayers' dollars for the city and that area actually go to Sadale schools. So there's a lot of interaction that we need to have with the city. The city has a little more flexibility. Most people used to call me when I was on the school board and get mad about a crossing guard. By the way, that's the city, it's not the school. There's just a lot of overlap that people don't necessarily correlate or tie together. Love the idea of Trail Point. I was on the committee that helped do Trail Point in the big conversation where we're going to hurt businesses that have workout rooms and all the other stuff, because the Y and the Y relationship with the schools was waning, and we're moving forward. And a pool is expensive. And do you want a pool, or do you want more facilities and more things for students? So a lot of those things that we really have to work with the city. I think I have a really good rapport with the city leaders and people there. I've served on a lot of committees over the years, and especially as a business owner. And I think that we have to continually address that situation. And with open communication, we will work well with the city. We always have.
Thank you. We'll move to Joy.
School boards function best when there's good community engagement. So that's engaging with the businesses, it's engaging with the city council. I know that the city council and the school board, they have a committee where they work together, which I think is good because we're all in this together. We all live in the city. We all have the same, the same goals and stuff as far as like the students and being. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked right there. I made eye contact. Let me start back over. Engagement with the community groups. We have some fantastic community groups out there, and we need to be partnering up with all of them. And some of the schools, we have some community support people that can help direct. If we're struggling as a school district to find the resources or needs for a certain group of students that we're serving, then working with our community members and our community organizations. But going back to like the city council and working with them, it should be a partnership. I don't know why we wouldn't all work together to make Ankeny the best it can be.
All right, thank you. Shelley.
Thank you. I agree. We should be working closely with this city and the schools should be working closely together. It is very important regarding the growth of our community. We can continue working with some local businesses to help build some of our programs. I'm having that opportunity to work with our local businesses. We can work on some of those trade programs that I think would be very beneficial to our students. But yes, we're having that close relationship is a necessity for us to have a growth in our community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Sarah.
Thank you. Our communities need strong public schools. We need them and we thrive in them, and we're better when we're all working together. We heard that at the city council forum last night, that is what is attracting to people to Ankeny. It's what's attracting businesses. It's what's attracting people to move here. So it's essential to have a great partnership and working relationship together. We both need each other to be successful, and we want to make sure that when that happens when I am on the school board. There is the school board city council committee, and would love to learn more about that and getting involved in that if I were elected. I think it comes down to having good relationships, good conversations, talking through those problems and issues, and talking through solutions together. And another thing to add is that we should be utilizing and be creative of the resources that we have. We heard a lot this year about the busing problems and the challenges that we were having. Is there a way to get creative with that, with the DART transportation study, so that our kids can get to school on time, they can get picked up on time and home at a reasonable time? It's building those building uses of our taxpayer dollars, the facilities. How do we leverage all those things within our community and give great experiences for everyone? So we've heard this, we know this, parents, students, teachers, community members, we all want to feel connected and unified together, and we're better when we all work together. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move now virtually to Lori Bullock.
Thank you. The current relation between the city council and the school board is a very good relationship. There are a number of agreements between the school board and the city regarding use of facilities, regarding land use, and that has all been possible because of cooperation between the city council and the school board. I'm sure we've all had kids in Parks and Rec activities, which is a city activity, and it's always conducted at a school. So that's those types of services that we can offer as a community only happen when the city council and the school board work collaboratively. Having a school board and a city council that are dedicated to moving our community forward and to recognizing the reality that we are no longer a small town, that we are growing at a rapid rate, that we are diversifying very quickly is key to having a successful school district as we move forward. And that partnership only needs to continue. There, from everything between, ensuring that affordable housing is spread out throughout Ankeny so that we don't have a particular school building that is, a higher free or reduced lunch percentage, to making sure that we've got traffic flow and we've got good pickup and drop off zones for all of our elementary schools, or anybody who's tried to navigate the traffic circle around the high school during drop off or pickup time. All of that, it requires an excellent relationship. And I know that historically it's been very good. And I think that we could only improve that with having great people on both school board and city council that are dedicated to moving Ankeny forward.
Okay, the next audience question will go to Lori Lovestead. And that question is, what are your top 3 priorities and why? As a school board member, how do you plan to accomplish them?
3 is pretty strong. I guess my first one is really engaging and supporting the strategic plan initiative that's going on in the district right now. It is the blueprint. It's the guideline of how we move forward over the next 10 years to direct our education, to determine what we determine is success for our students. And so I think having that transparent, open, vibrant communication between our community and our parents and our school staff is one of the biggest priorities we can have. A second thing that I am extremely committed to is recognizing and supporting the DEI initiatives that are rightly so becoming baked into our school system. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, isn't a single issue. It's not only recognizing and amplifying the diverse voices of our community, but it is creating a system of equity where every student gets what they need and has the barriers removed to having their education be what they need to grow in the future. The inclusion part of it is just making sure that every student, every family feels that they are not only a part of our district, but welcomed and a vital part of who we are as a community. And third, I think, is just listening to student voices and making sure that our students are heard. Having 2 student representatives elected this year to our school board was one of the first initiatives I supported as a board member, and I was very proud this year that we were able to make that happen. And so keeping that student voice centered is also a very important thing to me.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to Trent.
So all the years I've been around, and I've been reminded today I'm the oldest person sitting up here at the board. Strategic plan, worked on it 10 years ago. It's up again. A lot of it stayed. 5 years ago, they reevaluated and did some things. One of the main things, if you're only going to do 3 to 5, and there's like 300 to 500 things that need to be done. Strategic plan is probably one of the most important things we'll be working on over the next year. Second important initiative, or something that changes the landscape of our district, is the hiring of a new superintendent. I've met Dr. Pruitt multiple times. I sat in as a business owner and interviewed the 3. A great choice, but he's still somebody that we have to understand, because if we understand him and he understands us, we can do some really great things. Anything you do in education is a 3 to 5 year investment, and we have a 3 to 5 year investment in our new superintendent. Very excited about working with that and working on these things. And then I think lastly, or probably most importantly to me, is parental involvement. And not only parental involvement, but allowing parents to be involved and encouraging parents to be involved. I think we've run in some times in public education where we just said parents shouldn't be involved. And I think that's one of the top 3 priorities along with superintendent's strategic plan that I would like to look at over the next year.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to Joy.
One of my big priorities is recruiting and retaining effective leaders and teachers. The teachers are the backbone of our school district. They're the ones that do the everyday job of serving our kids, teaching our kids, in some senses raising our kids. They're not only just teaching them academics, but they're also teaching them social and emotional skills and how to be a good person in out in the community. So I'm really passionate about making sure that we as a district have good hiring practices, that we're getting the best teachers that we can get. It really starts with the leaders too. We need to make sure we have the right leaders in those leadership positions. I'm very impressed with Dr. Pruitt. I enjoyed my one-on-one conversation I had with him. I've been impressed with all of the community engagement things he has done and asking for community engagement. So when you have a strong leader at the top, he's then going to empower his leaders in his building, who will then empower the teachers in the classroom, who then those teachers are going to empower our students. So I'm really big on recruiting and retaining effective leaders and teachers. Another one is supporting diversity. Our city is growing rapidly. Projections for 2025 is we're going to be at 13,500 students. That's a lot of unique students. Everybody should feel supported. Everybody has a worth and everybody deserves a chance to succeed. So just encouraging and supporting all of our individual students and all their individual and unique differences. And another one is just engaging our stakeholders, making sure we're getting input from everybody involved, whether that's teachers, students, grandparents, business owners, taking all that input and making decisions. We need to make sure that we have opportunities for people to participate. I know surveys are one way we can get a lot of information quickly, but then we need to take that information and do something about it. So just making sure we have multiple opportunities for our stakeholders to get involved in the decision-making process through the school district.
Thank you for that response. Shelley, you are next.
All right, thank you. My top priority is our teachers and our support staff. There are some situations where we are having our support staff is doing the job of 2 to 3 teachers in a day, which is not good for our students at all. So figuring out how we can get some new teachers in here, how we can keep them here should be top priority. And also we need to, when we are hiring and making sure we are going outside of the district and looking at all levels for the hirees, not trying to just hire within at all times. Also our diversity, our DEI, making sure that every student feels safe and has a safe place to learn. There is no student that should feel like they should conform to should conform at all to be something that they are not, just to fit into the Ankeny schools. Learning about the DEI is very important. And communication. Communication is something that needs to happen daily. Having that communication with the teachers, having that communication with parents, having that communication with the students is important. Having open-minded conversations, coming to find common ground, and then coming to the end conclusion to help solve whatever the problem is. So teachers, DI, and open communication.
Okay, Sarah.
Thank you. One of the things I'm really important about is fostering connectivity, and there's so many pieces of this. So it's really opening up the lines of communication between the parents, the teachers, the community, the businesses in the community, and bringing those and reintegrating those back in. I'm excited about the idea of parents being back in the classroom, having more volunteers in the classroom that have missed that over the last year and a half. Part of that also is attracting and retraining great teachers and giving them the support they need and understanding and hearing them and being a voice for them when they do have challenges or they have a new idea or something they want to share. It's good to have that connection. And most importantly, have a safe and welcoming environment for all students. We want everyone to feel respected, safe, and there should be a great mutual respect between our teachers and students. The second thing that's important to me is really our curriculum aspect of it. I really like the idea of expanding the Orbis program and giving opportunities to all students and starting that younger, thinking about starting as early as elementaries to teach them life skills, to teach them how to be responsible, how to think for themselves and be strategic thinkers, teach them to be good learners, good citizens. There's so many things that we can teach them all along the way to prepare them. So there's that. And then the second thing, or the third thing, excuse me, is really thinking about that 10-year strategic plan. There's so much that's happening in Ankeny. We're growing 6 or 7 people every day. So we're going to have a lot of people, and we want to make sure it's a great experience and that we're meeting their needs and we're meeting them where they're at. What does Ankeny look like? And it's really important to me that we're bringing all the voices along. I'll echo what Joy said. I love Dr. Pruitt. I love how he is giving parents opportunities, the community opportunities, the parent advisory council that meets once a month. So, and with that, what are the measurements that we're going to give with that? How are we creating the transparency, accountability, communication of that so that everyone knows what we're doing and knows what we're planning for the next 10 years and all the great things we're going to do. So thank you.
Okay, Lori Bullock, you're up next.
Thank you. So a lot of my priorities I've already talked about, creating those vocational based learning opportunities. But I think my first priority is improving the equity in our school district. And that is everything from our teachers, our facilities, and then also our students. As a board, we set the policies, we set the tone for ensuring that we are not just talking about, making sure that every student feels welcome, but actually removing the barriers so that every student really does feel welcome. I'm sure that most of us tuned in for the Seeking Truth Forum and heard our students talk about their experiences. And what I will tell you is through my work as a civil rights attorney, none of that was news to me. I know that, for many years now, we have always had children in the Ankeny School District who have not felt welcome, who have not felt like they were really part of the Ankeny School District, and that needs to end. And that starts with the school board setting that tone and ensuring that we are arming our teachers and providing our teachers with the resources they need to remove those barriers and create an equitable classroom. And going all the way down to, even just, ensuring that our policies are all equitable as well. My second priority would be our special education delivery system. I know from communication with a lot of parents in the district that we as a school district expect a lot out of our parents of children that have special needs, really rather, expecting them to come to the table and do a lot of advocating for their children, which obviously they're all ready to do, as, most every parent is ready to step in there and advocate. But as a school district, we need to make ourselves, make it more accessible for those parents, know what services are available, make it a little easier for them to walk into those IEP meetings, those accommodation meetings, and know that the school has their back and that they are getting the best services they can to make sure that their children can learn right along with their peers. And one of my third goals would be to increase transparency. I know in the past, there's been a lot of issues where parents haven't felt heard. And while the board may not all agree, board may make decisions everybody doesn't agree with. Yep.
Can you hear me? That time's up on.
Yes. Okay. And just being transparent with that. Thank you.
Okay. Let's. So we'll move on to Christian.
Okay. I think the 3 priorities that I would want to promote, and I think that need to be done on the school board, is stop the bullying and the harassment. My solution, and I don't know if a lot of you have gone to my website, but my solution to solve the problem is to create an automated text messaging system that will be used basically all you have to do is text a number and it goes straight to the administration. It's that simple. I mean, it's used to report any harassment related counseling services, etc. And I think that would be a good system that would help stop the problem because the principals and the staff would be more quickly to respond. Here's the thing. A lot of high schoolers and middle schoolers are really addicted to their phones. They already have phones, so why not? I mean, that's the reality. Next, I think we need to have more student services. This includes, I mentioned today something about having more job interviews for our students. That's what I think what we should do. And we're like a manager from a job just comes into school and gives them a straight up job interview. That simple. We just need to have more student services. And finally, we need to make the system easier for all students. And that means one of my priorities I think that need to be done is we should have like a student ID / debit card that students can just put in their wallets in school. That's my idea, what I think should happen, because you can use it for lunch, you can use it for going to a sporting event. You just have to add money to that account.
Okay, Christian, that's 2 minutes.
And yes, and that's what I think should be done. Thank you.
All right, well, that gets us to the end of that question, and unfortunately, we're out of time for audience questions, and it turns out that the audience did a great job of having a whole bunch of questions. And so what we would ask, or just let the audience know that because we are out of time for audience questions, the candidates will be available for a short time after this, or please feel free to reach out to them for questions that we were not able to get answered this evening. But we really appreciate everybody taking their time to get us all of their questions. And thanks to Tom and Randy for putting those questions from the audience together. So what that does is brings us to our closing statements. And you'll remember from the beginning, we're going to do this in reverse order. And so Trent Murphy, you would be up first with closing remarks for 2 minutes.
Nice part is I didn't have to go first, and I get to go first at last. Tonight's a lot. You guys have been here for an hour and a half. It's hard being on that side. We don't get to talk. It's easier being on the side where you get to talk because you get to tell everybody what you think, and then you get to hear everything later. To say the least, the past month has been difficult. Emotions have been high for me, low for me, but I remain steadfast in my commitment to the community and to the school district and to trying to make things better. There's always going to be things that we have to work on. There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be stress and all the things that happen in your lives and everybody else's lives and kids' lives and teachers' lives. But the reality is that we're kind of all in this together. I've been reminded multiple times that civility is important. My experience is important. Trying to be consistent in an inconsistent world is important. So having said that, students, teachers, and administrators, parents and taxpayers and business owners and community members, I'm just asking for you to vote for me on the 2nd, and we'll work out a lot of things after that. Because if you look at all the things that we could talk about, we only had 3 key goals, and there's so many more. And I'd like to share that time, and I'd like to share the next 4 years working through those. And I've always had the saying, if you ask anybody in business and everywhere else, always take the meeting. Sometimes you don't like what you take at the meeting, but you take the meeting. So thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for the chamber and Mark and Chris for doing this. It is a long haul, and you get to listen to 6 more people talk about it. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for those comments. And Lori Lovestead, you're next.
Once again, thanks for everybody for being here. And in closing, I would just like to say that throughout the past 4 years, I have a track record and a history of not only being an engaged and active board member, but being a board member who is here for every student, every day for what they need. I have become an advocate for our students, for the growth that what we need as a district and as a community. And I've been willing to put in the work when it's easy, but also when it's hard. We have seen a lot of activity the past year and a half, but that's not a reflection of what we do as a board. What we do as a board is really create an environment for our students that is really laser focused on what they need, on what their education needs to be, and how we can promote that and do whatever we need to be able to enhance that for them and for our families. I am here to continue that work for what we need to do, to be able to have conversations whenever they need to be had, to advocate for what our students need, for what our district needs, and to be able to have a voice that is unafraid to do what is right for our community, for our students, and to not always say that what we have is the only way, but when it's hard, we'll do what's right for our students. And I think that's important to be able to show that steady, consistent focus on what our students need, and to be able to have that conversation about what they need in the future and to be able to work towards that effectively. Thank you.
All right, up next is Christian.
I am asking for your vote on November 2nd so I can bring about the change we most desperately need. I'm the only candidate sitting here tonight who has not been endorsed by a political party, whether Democratic or Republican. I will be a strong voice and advocate for the young individual students. Education is our first priority. Our students over the past years have been treated horribly. Our students don't come our students don't come last, they come first. And that's going to change. Students are the primary reason why Ankeny schools always changes. Young people have brought more change than the older people whom graduated years and years ago. I promise you, I will stop the harassment and bullying. I will make students more inclusive. I will help provide more student services. I will do anything that's in the best interest of the students. How do we do that? By putting Ankeny education first. To learn more about me and my platform, go to my website at christianmholtz.com. Thanks, and I hope I can earn your trust in your vote November 2nd.
Okay, let's move on to Lori Bullitt.
Thank you. And I, again, want to thank the Chamber for pivoting so quickly. And I am, I'm very sorry I couldn't be there in person again tonight. I am an incredibly passionate person when it comes to giving back to my community. I donate my time whenever I can. I help out anywhere that I am able to lend a hand or lend my expertise. I bring with me to the board an expertise in equity and really being able to delve into those issues and have those conversations that we need to be having as we're creating our strategic plan. I also know the importance of advocacy, whether that be up at the State House advocating for more money or advocating for laws that are beneficial for our school district, but also advocating for students' needs, teachers' needs, and our community's needs. I've learned through my time on various community boards and through the PTO the importance of listening to every viewpoint and making hard decisions. And I am ready to put in the hard work of being on school board, ready to volunteer my time and give 100% to the school district. And I hope that I have earned your vote on November 2nd. Thank you.
Sarah, you're next.
Thank you. Thank you to the Chamber and everyone that was involved with putting this forum on tonight. Thank you, Mark and Chris, for moderating and leading us tonight. Our kids are our greatest asset, and giving all students a well-rounded education that supports them academically, socially, and emotionally is so important to all of us and the many parents, teachers, and community members that I've heard from. Ankeny's mission is to set our students up for a lifetime of personal success, and I'm committed to that and all students having a great educational experience for them to thrive, learn, grow, and be great members of our community. I believe in the golden rule and will live by that every day and will continue to do so if I'm elected. I'll lead with passion, energy, and a positive voice. I'm going to listen, engage, ask questions, and do what's best for all students in Ankeny if I'm elected. I'm looking forward to a community that can find its way towards unity and to be part of that solution. Let's have conversations and work together to help our schools continue to serve and do amazing things for our kids. Above all, I'm committed to equal opportunity for all students, inclusiveness, academic excellence, fostering great relationships and partnerships, recruiting and retaining great teachers, parent choice, having accountability, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. I would be honored to serve on our school board, and that's why I'm asking for your vote on November 2nd. Thank you.
Shelley.
Thank you. Thank you also to the Chamber for this event. I have one agenda that is helping make Ankeny schools be the best that they can be. What I have learned as a personal trainer, a wife, and a mom is how to listen, to have open-minded discussions, put together a plan, and work together toward a common goal. Ankeny has been in a constant state of growth for many years. We have seen the diversity changing on the outside, but not on the inside of our schools. We need to change that. When making our 10-year plan, we need to look at more than just buildings. We need to look at how we can upgrade internally. We need to address the reasons families decide to enroll out of the Ankeny schools. What I will do as a school board member is address the core concerns our parents have and make our public schools so competitive there is no reason to leave. We should be investing more into options for students who do not see themselves going to a college, maybe those that are wanting to get into the trade programs. I understand that my role as a school board member is to manage the superintendent, review policies, budgets, and finances. I also believe the role of a school board member is to be involved in the community, and available to our teachers, our staff, our students, and our parents. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I appreciate your support. Vote November 2nd.
Okay, thank you. And we'll wrap up closing remarks with Joy.
Thank you. Leadership requires tough decisions and sometimes uncomfortable conversations. I feel that I can do that. I've been a listener since I announced I was, taking this leap of faith and, running for the school board. I have had those uncomfortable conversations with people that don't agree with me, and that's okay, as long as you can have respect each other's different opinions, and then come to a decision that's best for all students and for what's best for the community. So as far as being on the school board, you've got to be a leader, and you've got to be willing to listen to everybody. So teachers, I feel they feel comfortable talking to me because they know that I have lived their lives. Parents feel comfortable talking to me because I am a parent. Taxpayers feel comfortable talking to me because I'm a taxpayer. So with all the roles I've played in Ankeny, I feel that I would be a valuable asset to the school board. For listening to all the stakeholders, for wanting to create the best learning environment for our students, and having the passion to support teachers and all of the support staff in the buildings are exactly the traits that you want in a school board representative. So hopefully I can earn your vote. And if I am elected, I will continue to be available, approachable, and I want what's best for everybody. And I just want everybody to unite again for our students and for our teachers. And just like I said earlier, make Ankeny the best it can be.
Thank you all for your closing statements and all of your terrific answers to the questions that we were able to share with you. Again, I remind everyone in the audience tonight to seek out the candidate after this forum or at some other time to get your questions answered if we were unable to answer them due to time. This concludes our Ankeny School Board Candidate Forum, and on behalf of the Ankeny Area Chamber, we'd like to thank our candidates certainly for accepting the Chamber invitation and joining with us this evening to have dialogue with all of you. And we also want to thank the public and all of you here in attendance for your interest, questions, and your attendance. It's very meaningful. The election for Ankeny Mayor, City Council, and School Board takes place on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at your usual polling location. Or early voting is available currently in person at the Polk County Auditor's Office in Des Moines until 5 p.m. on November 1st. In addition, if you vote by absentee ballot, Your ballot must be received in the county auditor's office by 8 p.m. on November 2nd. So thank you all for your interest to attend and participate. We wish you a very good night, and please join with us in giving our candidates a round of applause.
You know, one of the things that we're always looking for as a not-for-profit organization is low-cost ways that we can get the education we need. And the Chamber does a great job of bringing together a well-rounded mix of people and topics at a cost that's affordable to an organization like On With Life. Anytime anybody asks me about the Ankeny Chamber and whether or not it's a good business decision, I wholeheartedly say yes. And there's so many different things that members can get out of being a part of the Chamber, and it's going to be unique for everyone. And everyone has the opportunity to figure out what is a business need they have and how can the Chamber support it. And I am 100% that they will find the answer in working with the Ankeny Chamber.